The death toll from the coronavirus reached a tragic milestone in the U.S. on Tuesday, surpassing 200,000. After the figure was confirmed, a moment of silence was held in Congress. The United States has suffered the largest loss of life due to coronavirus, followed by Brazil. The number of confirmed cases in the U.S. now stands at more than 7 million. The pandemic has taken a disproportionate toll on ethnic minorities in the U.S. Official data shows that Hispanics and African Americans are almost 5 times as likely to be hospitalized due to COVID. And while Black people make up just 12% of the population, they account for 21% of coronavirus deaths in America. We're now going to bring in live Martin Kulldorff, professor of medicine at Harvard Medical School in the U.S. for more on this. Now, as we mentioned, the U.S. death toll has surpassed 200,000, and there's been 5,000 more deaths since yesterday. Do you think the government has lost control of the situation?
No, I think the government is trying to control the situation, and the way the U.S. system works is that it's the states that have the responsibility for what countermeasures to do. So in a sense, it's 50 states, and I think some states have done well and others have done less well.
Reports have shown that the death toll among African Americans has been disproportionately high. How would you explain that?
With COVID, there is a huge difference in risk by age. So older people have more than 1,000-fold risk of mortality or death from COVID compared to young people. So everybody can get infected, but it's the older people who are at very high risk. So for older people, COVID is much more dangerous than the annual influenza, but from children, it's much less. So the best strategy to deal with COVID is then to do as much as we can to protect the high-risk elderly people, while younger people should be able to live their lives more normally.
All right, Shalom. Back again. First and foremost, giving all credit to Yahweh Bashir Melvashai. Double honors to the men who I learned this truth from, beginning with the apostles and others of great millstone. Yahweh Bashir Melvashai Barakatham to the hopeful elect, whomever they may be. All right, just back with another quick video. It's pretty much piggybacking off the previous video that I just did, dealing with how, pretty much how they're trying to push the narrative that so-called Negroes, so-called African Americans, and so-called Latinos, right, are more likely to catch this COVID, right? Which, if you go back, I'm gonna rewind it to where they say the numbers.
Million. The pandemic has taken a disproportionate toll on ethnic minorities in the U.S. Official data shows that Hispanics and African Americans are almost 5 times as likely to be hospitalized due to COVID. And while Black people make up just 12% of the population, they account for 21% of coronavirus deaths in America.
So you see, that's a pretty damn high number, right? But nevertheless, like I said, it's not gonna be long. Just pretty much piggybacking off the previous video I just did. And again, just showing that how, they're trying to push this narrative of so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native American Indians being the new face of terrorism, because that's what they're trying to link all these riots and protests. Pretty much everything that's going wrong, right? They're gonna blame it on the Israelites. All right, and again, whether this is true or not, all right, they're gonna, like I said in the previous video, they're gonna push this, put so much fear into the people, even more so Jake, right? They're gonna back Jake into a corner to a point where Jake, they're gonna flock to those vaccines when they come out. All right, and even more so the chip, because like I said, if you take the vaccine, more than likely you're gonna take the chip. All right, But nevertheless, just more fuel to the fire, just more case building to, deem the Hebrew Israelites as public enemy number one. All right, so just get a few more precepts. Initially, I wanted to include this video in the previous video, but I just completely forgot. But nevertheless, got a few precepts here again. Get this here first in Zephaniah 2:1. So this is a thing that Jake has to understand. Zephaniah 2:1. It says, "Gather yourselves together, gather yourselves together, yea, gather together, O nation, not desired." And that's talking about the nation of Israel, because these nations, man, they've always had this disdain for the children of Israel. All right, and we're a nation that these nations, they don't want to see come back. They don't want to see the nation of Israel rise back into power, because that they know that means they're in. Even more so Esau Edom, as it says in 2nd Ezra 6th chapter. Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. All right, they're gonna try to do everything in their power to pretty much stop prophecy from coming to pass. All right, because what you see going on now, transition of power, right? Esau's losing his kingdom, and you have the nation of Israel rising up. Even more so the house of David, all right, because it starts with the elect. But nevertheless, they don't want to. They don't want. They're doing everything in their power to stop the nation of Israel from coming back into power. Or they spend all type of money and resources. They do diligent searches, and they go above and beyond to stop us from coming back as a nation. All right, so this is why we're that nation that's not desired, because no one wants to see us come up. All right, because they know once we come up, that means slavery for the nations. All right. But sure enough, where is that at? In Amos 9, I think. I'll start at Amos 9, and I'll start at verse 11. It says, "In that day will I rise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen." All right. And again, the tabernacle of David, the house of David, but Yahshua Dawadah, right? The elect. All right. The Lord is when you read on, it says, "And close up the breaches thereof, and I will raise up his ruins, and I will build it as in the days of old." Now when you read about the time of King David, right? King David, he had the nations, all the nations under subjection under him. All right. And again, this is what the nations are trying to prevent us being in power and ruling over them. All right. Verse 12, it says, "That they may possess the remnant of Edom, and of all the heathen which are called by my name, saith Yahweh that doeth this." So you see, this is what they're trying to prevent, and this is why we're that nation not desired. So this is why they come up with all type of schemes and plots and plans to keep us in a state of sin, because when we're in a state of sin as a whole, the Lord is not dealing with us. And again, the nations, they know this. So this is why, they're selling, abominable foods in neighborhoods of Jake's, where Jake's predominantly dwelling. All right. There's a Planned Parenthood and predominantly Jake neighborhoods, right, and all these other things. All right, because this is the part of the secret councils that they when they come together, they discuss these things. They discuss their plans. All right. One of the main things that they discuss is how to keep us from coming back into power, how to stop this Amos 9 and 11 from coming to, coming to pass. All right. So, this is why they're trying to push a narrative. Jake's, all right, getting vaccinated, because those vaccinations, man, they're gonna kill a lot of Jakes. A lot of Jakes are gonna end up dying just by those vaccines alone. All right. So going to the next precepts, Proverbs 11 and 21. It says, though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished, but the seed of the righteous shall be delivered, which again is going into the elect, the house of David. All right. But nevertheless, you got these Jakes, man. You got like this guy Ice Cube, all right, trying to, pretty much work things out with the enemy. What's this guy's name? Jorge Masvidal, all right, UFC fans talking about pretty much, voting for Trump, right? Because again, these athletes and these superstars, these celebrities, they're nothing but pawns for the, these elites. We know that. But again, because one thing Jake has to understand, voting, that's never done anything for so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American, any man or woman. All right. So, because you still got Jakes, because that's the narrative that they're pushing right now, is Jake to vote, Jake to get involved with the elections and things of that nature. Like I said, Ice Cube and this guy Jamie Foxx, he did like a little video urging Texans to vote. Right. LeBron James throughout the playoffs, he was, advocating voting. Right. But again, no matter how much, because all this information is coming out about these Edomites, what they did to the children of Israel, and they know they got to pay for it. The harsh reality, they know they got to pay for it. We pay for our crimes that we committed against Yahweh Shemel Shai. Now they got to, they know that they got to pay for theirs. And that's a future that they're trying to run from. All right, this is why they're doing everything in their power to stay in this kingdom. They're trying to keep this kingdom going. All right, because they know, as the scriptures I just read here, though hand join in hand. All right, these lost Jakes trying to link up with these Edomites. All right, and you even got some Jakes to go as far as to talk about forgiving these Edomites and whatnot. Right, it says, though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not be punished. So these Edomites, man, as well as these other nations, they're not getting away scot-free. All right. Talks about that in Limitations. All right, we pay for our sins and our atrocities. Now they gotta partake in the wrath of Yahweh Shemel Shai. They gotta partake in that cup of slavery, and they gotta get it double. All right. So again, this is they're trying to run away from the history, and now they're trying to run away from the future that was waiting for them. All right, slavery. So from there, you get Psalms 55 and 21. It says, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. So you see again, because you got Jake's trying to, link up with these Edomites, man, and, trying to make peace and make deals and talk about reparations. All right. And again, Esau, he's going to tell you what you want to hear to, put you in that docile state, because, whenever so-called Negroes, so-called African Americans start rising up, all right, Esau always puts something out there to, put Jake back in that docile state of mind to pretty much tame the lion. All right, they always do that. All right. But again, Esau, they tell you what you want to hear, but in his heart, this man is looking to destroy you. All right, he's plotting on ways to destroy you completely. All right. It says his words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. So you see, this is what this man can't go to sleep without devising wickedness, devising some type of evil. He can't sleep without, you know, devising some evil scheme and just being the devil, which he was created to be. All right, that's what Jake needs to understand. These devils were created to be the wicked. All right, that's his lot is to be the wicked. All right. But you know, nevertheless, Jake, they don't want to hear these things. You know, they goes back to the whole Stockholm syndrome. You know, Jake, you know, they love their oppressors. You know, and that's why, you know, Esau, Edom, and they're gonna keep throwing these little bones to Jake, and you know, Jake just being simple that they are, they're just gonna keep, you know, dumbing down. All right. But nevertheless, you know, when it comes to the elect, man, we're not falling for that shit, man. All right. We want to see these devils get taken out of power, man. Psalms 18:5, it says, "The sorrows of hell compassed me about, the snares of death prevented me." You know, just like I was going into the previous video. All right, these snares, all right, these traps and tricks of the devil. All right. You know, because best believe, man, you know, Jake, man, I mean, not Jake, Esau, Edom, man, that this flood that's about to come down and swoop, you know, tear through these streets, man. All right, because eventually, you know, Esau, he can only hold he can only hold in his horns for so long. All right, eventually these devils they're gonna show their true horns eventually. All right, you know, and that's, you know, you know, in that day, you know, Jake is going to understand that these people, man, they're the wicked that the Bible talks about. Eventually, these simple-minded Jakes are going to understand it. They're going to get it, but they're going to find out the hard way. All right, because they're about to come through these cities. They're about to flood through these cities and destroy homes and, you know, rape and rob and, you know, just do the same thing that they've been doing for years, man. All right, but, you know, in that day, man, it's going to be too late for Jake. Jake, you know, they're going to be seeking the prophets. All right, you know, but, you know, again, by that time, it's going to be too late. All right, so, you know, let Esau, Edom continue to build his narrative. All right, let him continue to, you know, do what he's got to do. You know, bring the flood. So, you know, it's just only one step further into getting the hell up out of here. One step closer in, you know, the kingdom being established on this earth and these devils being taken out of power, man. So let him, you know, build his case, man. You know, because when it comes to those of the faith, you know, the real men of the Lord, when it comes to the elect and the prophets, you know, the 1/3, you know, all of the above. All right, we're tired, man. We don't be here no more. We're tired of this shit. Let Esau let him do what he has to do, so we can get the hell up out of here. All right, so, you know, again, you know, just something short. Just wanted to add on, piggyback off the previous video I just did. And, you know, go ahead and end it off there. Once again, giving all credit to Yahweh Shem Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone and all the men on down respectfully. Yahweh Shem Shai Barakathum to the hopefully elect. And until next time, Shalom.